Good to see you all again, Matty Motorcycle fans. Today we have a very intimate and special edition. We're going to talk about protecting your brain. We're going to go from half helmets to full face helmets. We're going to go from low end to high end. And of course, I would be remiss to not talk about street versus racing and performance. Folks, Matty Motorcycle about to talk about your face. Let's start by talking about half helmets versus full face helmets. Obviously, the elephant in the room, safety. Everybody's going to talk about it. To all my new riders out there, I'm sure your mom would love you to have a full face super protective helmet. And obviously my experienced riders out there, some of you guys don't even wear helmets. So this is going to be a step up. So let's talk about the differences. Obviously, less things can hit you in the mouth when you have a full face helmet on, and this is a little bit different. I'm just gonna point out, these are actually all my personal helmets, and yes, I actually do wear these from time to time. I'm not saying you should, I'm just saying I do. So real quick, I just wanna tell a fast story. When you're wearing a half helmet versus a full face helmet, obviously safety comes into play. Now, quick story, my uncle was driving down Route 81 in Virginia and he jumped his Goldwing across the highway. He was wearing this exact same model of helmet. It was a half helmet. Now, obviously he crashed. He went flying through the air. And I don't want to say he's totally fine because he also had t-shirt and jeans on, but he didn't break his nose, he didn't lose any of his teeth, he had zero brain damage, he's functionally, brain-wise and everything, totally okay. He didn't have a jacket or protective gear on, so his arms and legs are a little beat up. But he's alive, he's walking around, he's totally recovered, he's back to work, he's doing his thing. Yesterday, a guy just down the street from Matty Motorcycle Studios was riding down the highway, doing the same 85 miles an hour that my uncle was doing. A car swerved in front of him. He rear-ended him. He was wearing a full-face helmet. The A-arm of the car went through this windshield, hit him in his face. He is deceased. Point being, when you're riding a motorcycle, yes, helmet and protective gear is extremely important, but luck is still luck, karma is still karma, and I believe personally, if it's your time, it's your time. Moving on from that, when you're riding, obviously, the experience is definitely part of it. When you're wearing a half helmet, you have the wind in your face. You smell things a little bit differently. There's this visceral experience that you just can't replace in anything else. It's part of the reason why we ride motorcycles. I know when I'm on a motorcycle with my wife, I go a little bit slower. We have our half helmets on. She puts her face right here. We have ourselves a good old time. It's sweet, it's nice, it's relaxing, it's meditative, and there's a certain feeling you get that you just can't get when you have a full face helmet on. Now, obviously when I have this on, I'm not afraid to ride a little bit more aggressively. Whether it is safer or isn't safer, in my mind, I feel safer because I have the windscreen in front of me. I have this really great shell around my brain, and I just think that maybe, just maybe, if something bad were to happen, I'd be a little bit better prepared for it wearing these helmets. So obviously, it's always up to you. It depends on how you ride. A lot of times it depends on what bike you ride, and let's never forget that priority number one riding motorcycles, looking cool. So if you look cool in that, you feel cool in that, wear that. You look cool, you feel cool, wear this too. Moving right along. Let's talk real quick about helmet laws, specifically in the United States. Now, I just want to be clear about it. I do not believe in helmet laws. I believe in Darwinism. And I think if you get on a motorcycle and you're making the decision to not wear a helmet over your head, where like 4 out of your 5 senses are and your brain lives, and you crash and your brain doesn't work the same anymore, you kind of had it coming and you can't reproduce, and it's probably better for civilization as a whole, okay? So I say if you get on a bike and you're dumb enough to not put a helmet over your head, you kind of have it coming. Now, that being said, let's talk about the laws specifically. So 19 out of 50 states have mandatory helmet laws. So 19 of the states, most of which are in the northeast of the United States, you have to wear a helmet every time you're on a motorcycle. Just the way it is. There's 3 states, Illinois, Iowa, and New Hampshire, where there is no helmet laws whatsoever. You can take your 5-year-old on your bike on the highway with no helmet on, and it's totally cool. Again, Darwinism. There's 2 states, Florida and Michigan, where as long as you have health insurance, you don't have to wear a helmet. I think that's really funny. I thought that was a cool new little nuance. As for the rest of the states in the country, you could do the math, however many of them are left. Under the age of 18, you must have a helmet on. Or if you still have your motorcycle permit, so you went to the DMV, you got a permit to learn how to ride motorcycles. While you're in that learning phase before you have your full license, you also must wear a helmet. Again, I think it should be up to the individual rider. And just to see a quick chart of the United States as far as where those helmets are, please look here. You can pause the tape if you want. We're going to move right along. But those are the states where you can and can't wear helmets, or have to and don't have to wear helmets, we'll put it like that. Moving right along. I know you've heard somebody say it. You got a $50 head, get a $50 helmet. Ha 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 ha. Okay, we get it. Spend money on the stuff that is supposed to save your life and that's designed to protect, like we said, all the expensive stuff that's in your face. So let's talk about low end versus high end, and then cost versus value. What are you actually getting when you spend that extra money? So let's talk about first, representing our low end is going to be an Icon helmet. So Icon makes a full line of fantastic helmets, usually starter gear, beginner stuff. You can pick these up between $150 and $250. Now for a full face helmet, that actually is very reasonable as far as what you can expect to pay. Then we have Arai. Arai is definitely, we'll call it a higher end, more top tier, the most famous racers in the whole wide world, MotoGP and World Superbike use Arai helmets. Matter of fact, Johnny Ray, he's about to win his 6th World Superbike Championship. Absolutely unprecedented. Johnny, if you ever watch this, I'm a huge fan. Come visit me, call me, let's be best friends. And he wears an Arai Corsair helmet, which is just about as costly as you can get. These, depending on the paint, could be between $900 and $1,100 when you buy them, okay? So what's the difference? Obviously, it's going to be the quality of the materials that you get. Not necessarily better or worse, but higher quality versus lower quality. So this one, maybe it'll make your face itch after a little longer. The materials inside definitely aren't as plush. But when you move up to the next level, this mid-tier Arai helmet. Now, as you can see, Arai, they do have a full line of helmet designs, and you can get a very similar design when you get their lower end helmets, okay? But obviously the quality of the paint, and the paint's gonna be a little bit different. This one is almost about half of what the top tier one costs. So their mid-tier helmet costs about $500. Obviously it's still double this, which is, you know, we get it, double, right? The quality of the materials, the face shielding, the smushiness inside, the way it fits is definitely a little bit nicer. And then when you go up to this top tier, the inside is outright plush. Your face is like covered in pillows when you go for this higher end stuff. Plus, the airflow is much superior on a higher end helmet. You feel like you have a little bit of wind just in the right places. It's ducted around your brain, makes you stay a little bit cooler. One less thing you gotta worry about while you're riding, all right? You're not drenched in sweat. Then the different types of features that these helmets will have as far as where the face opens up. You have these little vents that are actually built right into the face shield, and you have a lot of face shield options when it comes to the higher end stuff. And then there's always the stick your chest out factor, okay? Obviously, if you're walking in to a diner and your bike's outside and you have this helmet tucked underneath your arm, you are cooler than the dude that has this one tucked under their arm. Again, you're not necessarily safer. I wouldn't call this helmet less safe than this one, but this one is DOT approved in the United States. Obviously, this one is DOT approved also, but Arai helmets and all of your top tier helmets are also checked out by this company called Snell, which is a private organization that walks into dealerships, picks helmets up off the shelf, slams them on the floor, and just checks how hard they break and how well they're designed. So you have Snell monitoring these. This one isn't officially Snell certified. Google Snell, see the differences that they have, and you'll understand exactly between the higher end and the low end. Again, it's your face, try to take care of it. Moving on to my favorite. This is still a Matty Motorcycle review, so we still have to talk about performance. So let's talk about a racing helmet versus a proper street helmet. So obviously we have, representing our race helmets, X-Lite 802 Carbon. Awesome helmet, one of the lightest ones on the whole world. It weighs 1,200 grams, that's like 2 pounds. Absolutely insane, easy to move around in, feels light on your head, but the rub always is going to be volume. Here we have a Schuberth C3 modular helmet. Now, obviously, for the street, I'm gonna tell you personally, this is my street helmet. I love Schuberth for the road. It is like a pillow inside, it's comfy, the noise is muted, but you can still hear the important things like cars next to you, horns honking, children in the street, a dog barking, all that stuff. You can hear it perfectly clear in this helmet. This helmet is considerably louder while you're racing. While I'm on a racetrack, I have to wear headphones, rather earplugs, because it gets really loud and vibey in here, and the wind noise as you're going, super, super loud in this helmet. That's why you gotta cover up your ears, plus your engine on your race bike sounds ridiculous when you have in this, it like vibrates around. Whereas this stays nice, cool, comfortable, and covers your ears in just the right places. Now, obviously, weight can play when you're in a racetrack situation. So when you're moving your head around a lot and you got to keep your head up to look up a hill or over a crest of a racetrack, just looking out for other bikes, making sure nobody wrecked, seeing what the corner workers are doing, it's nice to have a super lightweight and maneuverable thing on your head. That way, it just saves you the neck strain and your eye strain. Whereas this, you're usually in a more settled position for more time when you're on the street. My hooligans out there, I know you misbehave and that's totally fine, but even still, you're doing it for less time and it's a less strenuous situation than you would find yourself on a racetrack. These both have very high-end materials inside. Both of them are super squishy. Now, when you're on a racetrack, sweat becomes part of the problem. When you're moving around a lot and you're really working and it's 100 degrees outside, your tires are real sticky, you want a very easily removable headliner on the inside. You can pull those out, give them to your wife like I do, have her clean them up so your helmet doesn't stink anymore. Whereas this one is a little more obnoxious to pull the insides out, but you have to do it a little bit less. I don't sweat nearly as much in this helmet as I do in this one. Now we also have fields of vision, okay? This helmet is meant to be sit upright on a motorcycle, looking basically at the horizon, whereas this one, most of the time, I'm gonna be ducked down behind a windscreen with my helmet head tilted like this, so you want the field of vision to be up a little bit clearer. So this is a little bit wider on the top, the field of vision is a little bit higher, this bottom piece is a little bit thicker, as to stop things from smashing into my mouth should the occasion arise. Also, aerodynamics comes into play. If you look at this from the side, this is way sleeker. You have this little wind splitter over here, stops the buffeting at high speeds. Obviously, again, your head is supposed to be tilted like this, and you see just how smooth that wind would fly over your body. And last but not least is the tints. When I'm on a racetrack, I say it all the time, I'm a fair weather biker and proud. If the sun isn't out or if it's raining, I am not going out on a track. So I can leave a tinted visor full time on this helmet, And I know if it's not sunny enough, I'm not going to be riding anyway. Whereas this, you might catch yourself in different situations. And this has the drop down. Let's see if we can get a good view of it. Has the drop down eye visors to keep me shaded, and it is polarized so that the sun doesn't affect my delicate eyes. And obviously we can see this is a modular helmet. This whole piece pops up. You're not allowed to have such a thing on a racetrack. It's just one more thing that could fail and bust your face in. On the road, having a modular helmet can save you so much time. We've all been at a traffic light talking to the guy next to us is all you hear, okay? So when you turn around, if you pop this up for a second, tell your buddy, yo, I need gas, or hey, I'm hungry, or dude, there's something leaking on your motorcycle. It's a whole lot easier to pop this whole thing up, let him see your mouth, let him hear what you have to say, rather than try to talk through this. Folks, Matty Motorcycle here. I hope you Folks, Matty Motorcycle here. I hope you learned something about helmets, full face, not full face, half helmets, race helmets, and the different kinds of qualities you get for spending a certain amount of money. New videos every Friday. Please like, subscribe, and check out some more of my vids. Thank you so much.